All right, what is up, guys? Season 38, War number 8. We are well past halfway now. Going up against DSVG. They banned Kitty, Wags, and CGR. I thought Wags was an interesting ban. I think it's a good ban because it makes a lot of fights a lot more tough with that. I'm taking path number 3. I'm taking this American Chavez. And then I'm taking Mephisto. This is the first time I'm taking Mephisto on node 20 since I double KO'd with Warlock. A little bit of PTSD there. I'm taking him with Apocalypse though this time, thankfully. And then I'm taking this Hyperion, and I actually end up taking that Blade, and then I take Terrax, Domino, and Green Goblin. So a pretty busy war for me, this war. I'm just looking back at my friend here, looking at Mephisto and thinking about how I really don't want to die to that. So at this point of the season, I think we were still in second place overall. DSVG at this point was number 3. So a pretty important war. My team consists of, I believe it was Apocalypse, Cable, and maybe Warlock? I don't even know. Yeah, Warlock, I think. The majority of my fights were taken with Apocalypse, because he's just such a beast. I remember now why he's banned so much. He's just so good. So this first fight I was a little worried about. America Chavez can be a little bit of a weird defender, especially if she starts throwing her heavies and getting different dimensions. It can really throw you off, especially if she gets to a special 2. So I'm using a Power Start 1 boost here. Thankfully, she's a very low health pool. She is a rank 4, so I kept that in mind. I decided to try to bait out special 1s and trying to stay as open as possible to try to prevent her from throwing any heavies at all. So right there, I was very happy with that result because it pretty much killed her. And then his special 3 will kill her. The only thing I had to look out in this fight is putting her into a corner because she gets Fury from the node, and watching out if she threw a heavy or something if she got to her special 2. Next up, we have this Mephisto, good old Mephisto. I'm taking him with Apocalypse, and thankfully Apocalypse becomes Incinerate immune after he's been exposed to it for 8 seconds. I'm also running half suicides, so I'm already bleed immune when I was facing Chavez. I can't remember if I have a White Max pre-fight here. It doesn't look like I do, but I thought I was supposed to wait for one. I don't know. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been a war since this war, so. But it looks like I don't have one. But actually, Apocalypse can parry Masochism nodes without any worry. I forgot about that, so I don't even need to worry about it. But I might actually play the stun immune anyway. He catches me there with a special 1, which when I did die earlier in the season, I got caught with 2 special 1s. So that right there, I was like, oh crap. I was like, don't let this happen again. So thankfully, Apocalypse becomes, actually I'm not Incinerate immune yet, but I think I become it at some point from being around his aura. As you can see, I got the special 2, and he's pretty much already dead. So I fire another special 2, and that finishes him off. So, like I said, Apocalypse is such a beast. Even when you mess up, he covers up your mistakes pretty well. So that's going to cost me some potions, but that's okay. Next up, I have this Hyperion on this node. I'm not really sure. I think I was looking at the death there for a second, but on this node, I think I'm going to pop an invulnerability boost because you want to make sure Hyperion, if he's stingy, that if he throws the special 3s, that you can tank at least a few. I think this node has Rich Get Richer, so my alliance mate Infamous placed a couple Odin pre-fights to get me some extra buffs so that I can win the Rich Get Richer battle. And then Hyperion is Conduit, so you do have to be careful with knocking him down. But thankfully, this is about the nicest Hyperion you'll ever see. He throws the specials like it's his job, which was pretty awesome. This node also has Incinerate and Bleed, I believe, alternating. but because I'm immune to both, that's not a problem at all. So as you can see there, I just became Incinerate immune, and I'm already Bleed immune, so now it just becomes a basic Hyperion fight, as long as he throws the specials, which he does. Like I said, he does really, really well, and he's super nice. I really appreciate this Hyperion being a superb gentleman. So Humble Dump, I appreciate that if you watch this. He almost gets to a special 3 here, which wouldn't be the end of the world because I have my invulnerability boost still. But once again, like I said, like the polite and well-mannered Hyperion he is, he threw his special. And now the fight, that Hyperion is just melting. So he does have aggressive prowess, I think it's called, where each second I don't hit him, he gets a prowess charge, but because I was hitting him so frequent, I didn't have to worry about that. So that fight went really well. This next fight is Blade. Actually was not assigned this fight. My alliance mate Eric was. However, he said he wasn't going to be able to get to it for an hour, and he was assigned to it in Apocalypse as well. So it was going to be the same fight. So I just read over it and was already boosted. So I said, you know what, I'm feeling good. Why not? This one has Rooted, Bubble Shield, and whatever it's called, Power Focus 2, where the defender gets a lot of power to get to a special 2, but it can't go above it. So with Blade, that's kind of dangerous, of course, because his special 2, especially if it lands, it hits a lot of hits, and then his bullets from his gun can really cause issues with Bubble Shield. So this fight goes really well, and it's really smooth. The only hiccup is I do get rooted at one point, and I do lose my invulnerability boost, but it was never even close to being a danger, which is good. So I'm also Bleed immune, so even if Blade did hit me with a special 1 or special 2, thankfully it's not the end of the world. So I baited out the special 1. I think this is where I get rooted. It is, and so obviously I couldn't hit him, so I lost my indestructible boost there, but thankfully then he threw a special, and that got rid of the root, and I'm Bleed immune, so it did hardly anything. So at this point, it's just a fun fiesta of special 2s, which crushes Blade. I don't even think I didn't realize he did that dex. So when he has more power, of course, he's going to be stunned less, but, you know, that's okay. You live and you learn. And yeah, this Blade goes down pretty easy. The only thing I could go back and change would probably be to keep an eye on his power and his stun meter, because clearly he was very generous. He had talked to Hyperion about being generous and not punishing my my mistakes. So next up I have this Terrax on node 26. Thankfully with Apocalypse, this fight is super easy. You don't have to worry about Conflictor, because Apocalypse, you just don't have to. He doesn't rely on, or his parries don't trigger debuffs or whatever. So it's just a basic fight with Apocalypse. I am Bleed immune, and I'm 80% shock immune because of my own pre-fights, and I'm just looking at my next fights, just kind of looking them over, thinking them through, because I'm going to take them all here in a row. I check my boosts. I still have my mutant boosts on, and I'm just kind of deciding between Power Start 1 and Invulnerability, so I use a Power Start 1 here so that I can do what I've been doing this whole time, which is cycling my special 2s. So yeah, I was a little worried about this fight at first, but then after talking through some of my alliance mates, it made sense that it was going to be super easy as long as I don't get trapped in Terrax's rock field, which it doesn't happen. It should go pretty well. So that's pretty much what happens. At the start here, I just parry him so his power goes down, so I can stay out of his rock field so I don't take any unnecessary damage. And then I can kind of just go to town. I don't know why I didn't do a full combo there. I think I didn't want to send him to a special 1 to have him even throw a special before I get to my special 2. So I do that, throw my special 2. Getting a lot of power back from the power back boost, of course. He talked to Blade, and he also talked to Hyperion about being generous, so he didn't throw any specials there, and I dropped my special 2 and then just finished him off. So once again, I see why Apocalypse is banned most wars, because he's just a monster. So at this point, my next 2 fights, Domino and Green Goblin, will be taken with Warlock, so I switch over my boosts. I decided to keep Suicides on because Warlock hits harder with them. It doesn't take any bleed or poison damage, and so I go ahead and switch over my tech boost and then my 12% with tech boost. This domino I've taken it many times. I think I could probably do it without an invuln boost, which I decided to do here. I went for the tactic, which is a little risky, but with the power start 1, so I could finish the fight faster. Domino will be gaining power the entire fight because of the armor up on Warlock. So you just have to kind of hope that she cooperates and throws specials. And if she doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I had my 33% reduction just in case. The biggest thing with dominoes, you just don't want to hit her when she's lucky because she'll evade you and then punish. And then you want to try to bait out her specials as best you can. You see I hit her there a few times when she's lucky, which works out pretty well. I'm just kind of ready to recover though on my lights. You never want to end a medium on lucky because I can guarantee you she will slap the shit out of you. So, okay. And let me see something. All right. And now my last fight, I will be using Warlock once again, and I'm going up against Green Goblin, which is actually a really good placement in my opinion on this node because of Aspect of Evolution as well as Kinetic Transference, and Green Goblin's specials do a lot of damage, or not a lot of damage, but do a lot of hits. So his special 1 obviously is easy to block, but he'll get a lot of power back from it, and then his special 2 is really easy to clip you and can do a lot of damage really fast. You just want to kind of be careful with that, and that's why I threw on an invuln boost on this fight, because I think Green Goblin can catch you pretty easily if you're not careful. So I think my plan for this fight, I think it's just parry heavy if I remember right. Yes, it is. And I just do that to get my infections up, and even though he's healing back, that's okay once I get enough infections on him. So at this point he's dying pretty fast. As you can see here, he gets a lot of power back from his special 1. So I just decided to go for it, and I just sent it. I was like, you know what, he's just gonna have to get to a special 2 if he gets to a special 2. Thankfully he did have willpower on clearly, so he's being power drained significantly. Made this fight a lot easier. And at this point I tried to go for my special 2, but clearly I missed it there. So that was kind of just a bonehead move. So I gotta work on getting my infections back up here again. And then once I get those, the fight is pretty easy. I just drop the special 2 instead of the special 1, and then he's pretty much done. I should have comboed there into a special 2, but it's all good. So yeah, I'm pretty certain that was my war. I think, what was that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights, I think, 6 or 7. I really wanted to steal that I-bomb with Warlock, but I was not going to do that. So we did end up winning this war. I honestly can't remember the score. I can't remember if we won by 2 or 4 deaths, but it was enough that it was never really in major damage. DSVG is a super good alliance. They fought super hard. So it's always a pleasure playing them. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Good luck to DSVG for the rest of the season, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.